What's up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. This is my betting breakdown for UFC 252. What's up, guys? Welcome to the first ever betting breakdown by popular demand. Here it is. This is strictly going to be betting and betting only, going over some of the lines, some of my personal bets, some of the things I might have just passed on. And if you're on the edge on something, maybe this helps you out a little bit. Maybe this helps you, on a new play or something. So I want to do this every Saturday morning. It's about 6:50 in the morning right now. I woke up at about like 4 o'clock in the morning. It's hard to sleep whenever there's a big card like this. I just placed my sixth bet, a prop bet at some big odds. We'll get to it in a second. Before we start the video, if you guys can leave a like, subscribe if you haven't yet, would appreciate that a ton. But yeah, hopefully we keep doing this every Saturday. If you guys like this idea, if you guys like this condensed breakdown, let me know in the comments. I'll keep doing it for sure. If you guys are interested in getting this sheet that you see in the video here, I am on Patreon. It's mostly for daily fantasy sports stuff. I'm looking into the future of using this model for betting purposes and putting some extra betting content out there as well, because I know a lot of people that do watch my videos don't play DraftKings, don't play FanDuel. So I'm working on something along those lines, something to get that model out to you guys that are strictly betting. So we'll start with the first fight of the night, Kai Kamaka versus Tony Kelly. And I mean, Kai Kamaka, I do think he should be the favorite. Minus 215 is a little too wide for me. If you do want to play Kai Kamaka, probably play him by decision plus 115. I mean, if you're on Kamaka, I think that's a good line. I think he will win by decision. If he does win, he's finished one fight by submission. Tony Kelly's a very tough guy. I don't really see Kamaka going in there and submitting him. When Kamaka fights, he's pretty low volume, and he has some really good takedowns, good top control, but he doesn't do much in top control, doesn't really try to land some ground and pound, doesn't really go for submission. So yeah, Kamaka by decision plus 15. Don't hate that. Personally, I'm staying away though, but that's probably the best bet in that fight. Doesn't go to decision plus 140. I do think it will go to decision. It's probably like minus 160. But yeah, Kamaka. I am picking Kelly to win though. Not gonna bet it. I have a feeling that Kamaka is going to take him down, lay on him, and win a decision that way. I think if it finishes, it is going to be Kelly. He's the more dangerous fighter. He's finished 80% of his fights. Next fight, Parker Porter versus Christopher Dawkis. Minus 325. Fight doesn't go to decision. Not sure about what the under is, but maybe the under as well. Overall, this is probably a pass. It's really tough to pick a fighter in this spot. Both of these guys are extremely low level. It's either going to be a quick finish or a very sloppy fight. But I don't know. I'm going to pass on this fight from a betting perspective. I don't really see anything I like, really. Porter by decision plus 500. I think if someone is to win a decision, it is going to be Porter. I don't think Dawkis has the gas tank to really succeed in those later rounds. But ultimately, I'm going to be going with Dawkis. I think he's the better fighter. Maybe Dawkis in round one is something to look at. He's very dangerous in round one when he's fresh. But if it gets out of round one, it gets extended. I think Porter's probably going to take over. So TJ Brown versus Danny Chavez. Minus 165, fight doesn't go to decision. I actually like that. I like it quite a bit. I did not bet it myself. Also the under as well. I think it's like minus 120, maybe even better odds than that. I like that as well. So Brown is someone who is very aggressive. He's been finished 5 times, 3 times by submission, 2 times by knockout. Very chinny guy. He's been knocked down so many times in all his fights pretty much, it seems like. But Chavez has some power. He's finished his last 3 fights by knockout. He's a black belt as well, so maybe Brown makes a mistake on the mat, and that's why I want to point out the plus 1455, Chavez by sub. I mean, Brown's been submitted 3 times. Chavez is a black belt. I don't know, how legit that black belt is, but he's a black belt nonetheless. And maybe Brown makes a mistake on the mat later in the fight, like he did against a Griffin there. But I don't know. Don't have a bet on this personally, but I like I said, I was looking at the under. I was looking at the fight doesn't go to decision, and maybe a stab on the Chavez sub prop is something I'd look at there. But ultimately, staying away from the fight, but just something to look at there. Jenna Roba versus Felice Herrig. No interest for me here. Jenna Roba by sub plus 255. I think the line is right there. Not too much value there. I think she has a chance to sub, but I just want to bet it myself. So not too much interest from that fight as a whole. Herbert Burns versus Daniel Pineda. So I don't know. Minus 425. Fight doesn't go to decision. Is obviously Pineda has never won a decision in 26 fights. Pineda by decision plus 875. So Burns looked pretty awful on the scales. I don't see Pineda like submitting Burns or anything. If Pineda's not able to knock him out, maybe Pineda gets that first decision. But ultimately, I think Burns is going to be fine. You know, although he did look pretty awful on the scales, I think he's going to be fine. I don't mind Burns as a parlay piece if he does come down a little bit in price. I personally don't have him as a parlay piece, but I mean minus 260. And then also, if the line comes down even more, minus 150 to win inside the distance for Burns. If that comes down to like minus 110, minus 120, I think there's some value on that. But other than that, maybe Burns by submission, minus 105. I wouldn't touch that. But I do think Burns wins this fight. But, you know, we got to talk about, you know, what we saw at the weigh-ins, and it wasn't, you know, looking too good there. But Le'Veon Soza versus Ashley Yoder, minus 150. I'm going to stay away from this fight. I see a lot of people on both sides. I think it could play out kind of close. Soza by KO, plus 620. By submission, plus 500. Yoder's never been finished. Yeah, I'm going to stay away. Not too much interest from this fight. I don't hate, you know, either side. If you play either side, I think it could be fairly close here. Vince Pichel versus Jim Miller. Minus 110. Fight doesn't go to decision. I like that line. I do think this fight finishes. I think it's Miller. And I did bet Miller as well at plus 110. And yeah, I like that bet. I like Miller to win this fight. I think he can take this to the ground. And when he gets to the ground, I think Miller is going to submit Pichel. You know, I was looking at the submission prop, plus 280. Man, that's not good enough. Plus 280. And then Miller round one is something to look at as well. But ultimately, I did just place a bet straight on Miller. I think, you know, the underdog money is good enough at plus 110. Philly, John Dodson. I mean, the line's getting kind of out of whack at this point. Maybe it's parlayable. I do think Rob's going to win. I think it's going to be his toughest task to date, but I do think he's going to win. I did place a bet on Marab, minus 135, winning by decision. And I got a lot of value on that line. It's now minus 170, wins by decision. I still think there is some value on that. If you're going to bet him, you might as well bet him by decision. He's not going to finish Dodson. Dodson's never been finished. Rosenstein versus Dos Santos. I see a lot of love for Dos Santos. The line's closing in quite a bit. I did place a bet on Rosenstein about a week ago when the line was where it kind of first opened around like minus 150. So, you know, wasn't really expecting the line to close this much, but I can see it. I mean, a lot of people see, you know, Dos Santos on Instagram looking good. Obviously, he's the bigger name, so the public is all, you know, running to bet Dos Santos, but it should be a close fight until Rosenstein does touch that chin of Dos Santos. Dos Santos, that hasn't looked good lately. He looked pretty bad in the Blades fight. He looked pretty bad in that Gonda fight. He just leaves a lot of openings to get hit, and that's a recipe for disaster against someone like Rosenstein, who has very, very good power. And I just see Rosenstein knocking out Dos Santos. Rosenstein by KO, plus 115. I don't hate it. I don't see Rosenstein winning a decision. I think if it goes to decision, it's going to be Dos Santos just sticking to the outside and winning a decision there. But I think it's going to be a little bit harder than people think to win a decision. For Dos Santos with the smaller cage, you know, some may say it favors the grappler, but Dos Santos has 2 takedowns since 2012, 8 years. It's not really part of his game plan. If he does, I mean, I think that would help him a lot in this fight, but I don't think he will go to those takedowns there. But Rosenstein by knockout for me. Like I said, I did bet him minus 150. I think you're getting a lot of value at minus 120, but I see a lot of people on the other side there. So good luck to all of you guys in that aspect. Sean O'Malley versus Marlon Vera. You know, man, this fight's so tough to call. Really couldn't take a side, but I did like the fight goes to decision at plus money, plus 105. I like that bet quite a bit because Marlon Vera is tough as nails. He's never been finished. You know, chin of steel. And if O'Malley does finish him, it's going to be in round one, so maybe look at the O'Malley round one prop. But ultimately, I am picking O'Malley to win a decision. And then I did place a small, kind of a hedge bet, 0.25 units on Vera in round 3, which is plus 1,800. And if Vera wins, it's probably going to be in round 2 or 3. So, man, I did take a shot at Vera in round 3 because if someone does finish this fight, honestly, I know a lot of people are going to disagree, but I think it's going to be Vera. Vera's just very tough. But ultimately, I'm picking O'Malley to win a decision. He was plus 175 to win by decision. I just took the safer route and went plus 105. Fight goes to decision as a whole, just in case Vera is able to pull out, you know, those last 2 rounds. So, yeah, those are some best to look at there. And then Daniel Cormier versus Stipe Miocic. I was looking at possibly placing a bet on DC, and then I saw the weigh-ins, and Stipe looked in phenomenal shape. I mean, he looked fantastic. DC didn't look awful, but it just it's just really hard. If Cormier gets the plus money, maybe I'll take a look. But I did place a bet on the over 2.5 rounds at minus 140. And, a lot of people are on Stipe. If you're on Stipe, that's a great bet for you. If Stipe wins, it's probably going to be later in the fight, honestly. So over 2.5, I like that quite a bit because I can see DC winning a decision. I can see DC, winning, the first couple rounds like the last fight, and then Stipe finishing him late. So I do like that 2.5. Really hard to bet aside here. If Cormier, like I said, was at plus money, I'd take a look, but just probably going to pass and just hope for that over 2.5 there. So that's the betting breakdown for you guys. Just wanted to talk about some bets for about 10 minutes. Good luck to you guys. If you guys enjoyed this, please let me know. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Would really appreciate that a ton. Like this video, comment. Let me know you have. Just wanted to recap here. I have Miller plus 110, 1 unit on that. Rosenstein minus 150, 1.5 units on that. Marab decision minus 135, 2 units on that. That's my biggest play of the night. Stipe DC over 2.5 rounds, minus 145, 1.5 units on that. O'Malley Vera goes to decision plus 105, 1 unit on that. And then Vera round 3, 0.25 units plus 1,800 as a little hedge there with some upside. So those are my bets. Let me know what you like, what you don't like, and good luck, and let's win some money.